Hey everyone, and welcome back to the 5 p.m. podcast. Or, well, welcome for the first time, I guess, since this is our very first episode.
That's right, Dan. We're so excited to finally kick this off. It's January 21st, 2025, and we've got a doozy of a topic to start with.
You can say that again. For those who don't know, I'm Dan, and I'm a bit of a politics nerd.
And I'm Tina, your resident political enthusiast, here to ask the questions you're probably already thinking.
So Tina, what's got everyone buzzing today?
Well, Dan, unless you've been living under a rock, you'd know that President Trump just fired a whole bunch of immigration officials.
Oh yeah, I was just reading about this. On his first day, right? That's a statement.
It is. And it's not just shuffling people around. We're talking about the Executive Office of Immigration Review and even some immigration judges.
Right, the people who, actually make the decisions on asylum cases and such.
Exactly. And alongside these firings, he's signed a slew of executive actions to, in his words, strengthen immigration enforcement.
Okay, wait, let me get this straight. So he's basically clearing house and bringing in people who
likely align with his views. It's a way to really reshape the immigration landscape from the inside out.
Oh man, this is the cool part. By cool, I mean significant, obviously. He's also declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border.
Which is a pretty big deal, right? I mean, what does that even mean, practically speaking?
So basically what's happening is, it gives the president a lot more leeway in terms of where he can allocate funds and resources. Think of it like, when you're playing a strategy game and you can suddenly move your troops wherever you want?
Okay, I'm with you. So more resources for border security then?
Exactly. And we're talking about some serious measures. Like, get this. He's ended asylum and even birthright citizenship for certain children born in the U.S. to undocumented immigrants.
Hold up. Can he actually do that? I mean, birthright citizenship? Isn't that, like, a constitutional thing?
That's what a lot of people are saying. The 14th Amendment's pretty clear on that. I was just reading a piece by this retired Cornell law professor, Stephen Yale Lower, and he's pretty sure it'll face some serious legal challenges.
I can imagine. But, setting aside the legal stuff for a moment, what's the thinking behind ending asylum for these kids?
Here's the thing about asylum. It's supposed to be a protection for people fleeing danger, right? But the administration sees it as a loophole that's being exploited.
I get that, but it feels like we're punishing kids for the actions of their parents. You know what this reminds me of? That movie. The one where the kids are born with superpowers and the government tries to take them away?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but in real life. And the stakes are, arguably, even higher.
So what else is on this executive action list? Anything else that might raise some eyebrows?
Oh, just deploying armed forces to the border and talking about building more border walls.
Armed forces? Isn't that a bit much? I mean, we're not at war with Mexico, are we?
Well, it depends on who you ask. Some people think it's necessary to secure the border. Others see it as a huge overreach of military power into domestic law enforcement.
And the wall. Ooh, I thought we already went through this whole debate in his first term?
We did, but it's back on the table. I guess the idea is that a physical barrier will deter people from trying to cross illegally.
But do those walls even work? I mean, people are resourceful, right?
There's a lot of debate about that. Some studies show they can be effective in certain areas, others, not so much.
Okay, so let's talk about ICE and CBP. They're getting more power too, right?
Yeah, they're basically being given more authority to enforce immigration laws. We're talking about increased arrests, deportations, the whole 9 yards.
And these federal task forces. Whew, that sounds serious. What's that all about?
It's about getting federal, state, and local law enforcement to work together more closely on deportations. It's kind of like assembling an all-star team to tackle immigration.
I can already hear our listeners thinking, what does this mean for immigrant communities?
Right? There's a lot of fear and uncertainty right now. I mean, we're talking about potentially millions of people who could be affected.
And it's not just the undocumented folks, right? I mean, businesses rely on immigrant labor. Families are going to be impacted. It's a lot to take in.
Definitely. And with over 3.8 million cases already backlogged in immigration courts, it seems like it will be a while before we see the full effects of these changes.
This is a huge shift from the previous administration's policies. I mean, the contrast is stark.
It really is. It's like we've gone from 0 to 60 on immigration enforcement in, well, a day.
So what happens now? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of legal battles, for one, and public debate. This is the kind of thing that really gets people talking and arguing.
No doubt. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. And, we'll be here to break it all down for our listeners.
That's right. And if this is something you want to keep up with, make sure to follow us, the 5 p.m. podcast, so you don't miss our next episode.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Tina, signing off.
And Dan, see you next time.